What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here. In this video, we'll be looking at one hell of a Crucible troll build. We'll be looking at two exotics that cause a whole bunch of flinch and then pairing them together. Can't aim but still want to drop 30 bombs in the Crucible? Then this is the build for you. I present to you Cerberus Souls. So, as the name suggests, we are using the exotic auto rifle Cerberus +1. This weapon has the exotic trait Four-Headed Dog, shoots erratic bullets from all gun barrels at the same time. It also has a perk called Spread Package. Aiming this weapon reduces the spread of its projectiles. And if you have the Catalyst, this weapon can shoot in an alternate fire mode by holding the reload button. This swaps it to a tighter close range spread. This mode shoots slower and is better for up close fights. Personally, I don't really use it in this mode. As you can see, this weapon has some wild bullet spread. It is especially egregious when firing from the hip. Now, as the title of the video suggests, that spread could actually work in your favor, as if you are bad at aiming, the spraying bullets may actually hit your target. This weapon is the definition of spray and pray. This weapon is also great for mowing down shotgun rushers. It lives in that 10 to 20 meter range, and it can even duel decently well in the low 20 meter ranges. But it is quite inconsistent. Sometimes it will definitely surprise you though, as there were times I got a long range kill that I really didn't think I would get because of how this weapon sprays. But the playstyle you want to adopt is kind of a baity playstyle. You want to use the map to your advantage. People love to ape with shotguns, so you'll want to backpedal a lot with this build. You want to try and bait them around corners and then chew them up with the auto rifle. So now that we know a general way you want to play with this gun, let's throw the second exotic into the mix, the Getaway Artists. These gloves have an exotic perk called Dynamic Duo. Hold your grenade button to convert your arc grenade into a supercharged arc soul. The arc soul functions as an autonomous turret. Now, what is cool about this arc soul is it fires much faster than a regular arc soul. It also seems to be more accurate and tracks more aggressively. You can see a side-by-side comparison of the regular arc soul versus the sentient arc soul from Getaway Artist. It may not be obvious, but when you use the arc souls, you can definitely feel the difference. There are a few things to know with how these arc souls interact. First is that when you consume the grenade with the Getaway Artist, that can be done on any Stormcaller subclass node, meaning you can run this with any tree of Stormcaller. However, there is an interaction you can take advantage of on bottom tree that is hugely advantageous, and why I would recommend using bottom tree. The sentient arc soul lasts for 20 seconds, where a regular arc soul from bottom tree rift only lasts 14 seconds. So because bottom tree can make an arc soul with its rift, you can actually completely refresh your sentient arc soul timer whenever you cast your rift. And not only that, it gives you the full 20-second timer instead of the 14-second timer. And your rift lasts for 20 seconds. So anytime you dip back into your rift, it will refresh this timer. This means that you can basically always have a sentient arc soul active if you set your build up right and don't die. Dying at the wrong time is all that can really stop this arc soul feedback loop. But before we get into the mods for this build, there's one thing you have to know. If you cast the rift without an arc soul, then you will get the rift arc soul. If you try and consume your grenade while that arc soul is up, it will only give you the regular arc soul. You have to wait until the regular one goes away before you consume your grenade. That is about all you really need to know for this build. The rest is just mods to keep your uptime on the arc souls. This is done in three main ways. First, you want to make your Getaway Artist Stasis. This will allow you to apply 2 Grenade Kickstart mods to your gloves. Grenade Kickstart will give you a big chunk of grenade energy back when you consume your grenade. The next thing you want to run is 2 Utility Kickstart mods on your bond. Again, the bond must be Stasis to apply this mod. This will allow you to get a big chunk of rift energy back when you cast your rift. This is good for allowing you to have a rift when you need it to refresh your arc soul. Alternatively, you could also run a solar bond with 2 bomber mods applied. These will give you another chunk of grenade energy back when you cast a rift. But honestly, I have ran this both ways, and I find the utility kickstart mods to be more useful. The final thing you want to do is run 100 recovery and 100 discipline, or at least as high as you can get on those 2 stats. That will reduce your passive cooldown on your rift and grenade energy. Lastly, you want to use storm grenades as they have the shortest cooldown of the 3 warlock arc grenades. As long as you set up your build like that, then you'll damn near always have a sentient arc soul following you around for every engagement. As I said at the top of the video, this build causes a high amount of flinch. I went into a private match with my friend Pat, and he shot me with Cerberus and arc souls. You can still land your shots decently well, but this is in a controlled environment. I took this build into Rumble and it actually fared very well. I was impressed with how well it did. I haven't played much PvP lately, and in my first game I won and I only had 3 deaths. One thing about this build though is it is massively map dependent. I suppose that goes without saying, but if you are on a big open map, then this build won't shine nearly as much. Places like Cauldron, Anomaly, or Exodus Blue, this build can do very, very well. Places like Distant Shore, Widow's Court, or Rusted Lands, it might not fare as well. But that is true for most loadouts. You just have to play to its strengths. I often paired a shotgun with my build, but that is just because I like having a shotgun on me. This build would be awesome with a sniper, as if enemies push close, you can chew them up. I was even out dueling multi-mocks with this build, which is another thing I should talk about. You don't have to run this build with Cerberus. I ran Getaway Artist with Last Word back in the day on console, and that loadout was amazing because the Last Word had a super fast 3 headshot time to kill. But this build allowed me to hit 2 headshots in one body, and the Arc Souls would do the rest. Same with a 140 RPM hand cannon, or even a 150 like Sunshot. It will change the crit ratio of those weapons. Now, all of a sudden, you can hit 2 crits in one body and Arc Souls will get the cleanup. I have seriously been saved by the Arc Soul a number of times with this build. It's honestly super effective. I mentioned multi-mock, and that thing is already crazy, and adding Arc Souls to it will decrease the time to kill even lower. Teraba is getting a buff in Witch Queen and already has a pretty low base TTK, so if you throw in Arc Souls with it, you will probably win most of your gunfights. That will allow you to proc Ravenous Beast more often and really mow through your opponents. I played with this build a long time ago and I did well with it. Hell, the first night I tried it, I even got a We Ran out of medals. But I ran like 4 games with it last night, 3 Rumble and 1 Control, and I was definitely getting bagged for my loadout. People probably won't like going against it, but I still did lose gunfights to crack gamers with hand cannons not missing any of their shots. Some may say this build is super cheesy, and I do agree, it is pretty cheesy. But in all honesty, Destiny PvP is pretty cheesy as a whole. Yes, you have highly skilled players who dominate with a hand cannon and shotgun, but personally, I get enjoyment out of making builds like this. Off-meta loadouts that center around a playstyle. Finding synergies between perks and exotics that are as fun as they are effective. The first season I ever went unbroken was the first season Oppressive Darkness came out. It was busted with 100 discipline and handheld supernovas. I crutched that all the way to 5500. I remember way back when there was an exotic quest where you needed Rumble super kills. I used a Bastion and the mod that gave you bonus super energy for fusion rifle kills, slapped on Geomag stabilizers. I got 4 supers in a single game of Rumble. I knew about the Geomag meta before Trials even existed. Sorry for the long rant, but I just wanted to discuss that it is okay to play Destiny in whatever way you find enjoyable. And in saying that, I definitely think you should try out this build, as I usually have a pretty fun time with it. You will also get multi-kills that you don't even deserve just because your Arc Soul tagged a guy once before your teammate could clean up the kill. Cool Guy did a build on Golden Tricorn with the Retrace Path and Hammerstrike Titan with Peregrine Greaves. When I first saw the perk Golden Tricorn, that is the first thing I thought of for PvP. Yes, one-hit kill abilities are less than ever in Destiny, but there are still ways you can make it work. I love the synergy in that build, and I think it is just awesome. I haven't played much PvP at all since 30th anniversary, so I still haven't got to try it for myself, but I love the synergy in that build. Anyways, back to this build. I already mentioned the main components of it, kickstart mods and looping your rift to refresh Arc Souls, and then consuming a grenade and keeping the chain going. But for the rest of the mods, I like to run double auto rifle targeting to increase aim assist on controller and increase ADS speed on both inputs. As well on my helmet, I have Taking Charge to easily gain Charge with Light from picking up an orb of power. This will get a nerf with Witch Queen and the orb generation changes, but it could still be viable from picking up orbs off your teammates' supers. On my chest piece, I run Unflinching Auto Rifle and Powerful Friends. This gives a plus 20 to my mobility, but also allows me to become Charged with Light when a teammate becomes Charged with Light near me. On the boots, I run Shotgun Scavenger for more ammo, but you could also run Sniper or Fusion Scavenger if that's what you prefer to use. And then I have Radiant Light, which will again charge me with light if I am near an ally who casts their super. And the secondary perk gives plus 20 to my strength stat. And finally, we have the Bond with High Energy Fire. This will give our weapons a 20% damage boost while we are charged with light. And as I mentioned, we have 3 different ways to become charged with light, so that just makes this build even better. But that is pretty much all I have to say about the build. It is very effective in the mid-range and extremely annoying to go against. Iron Banner is on this week up until Witch Queen launches, so if you are partaking, then give this loadout a shot on your Warlock. I bet you will drop some pretty high kill games. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, then a like would be greatly appreciated. And if you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any future uploads. I have one more video releasing before Witch Queen, and that will be out tomorrow. It is breaking down the Warlock build that I will be using day 1 for Witch Queen. It is a crazy strong build and will only get better with Void 3.0, so be sure to check it out. If you made it this far, then you are absolutely amazing, and I thank you so much for sticking around. Take care.